Our Spotlight Citizen of the Month is Miss Ruby Nolen. Also, many of you may know her as Jerry, and we are so excited to have her with us today. She doesn't mind me telling you, she's going to be 97 this month on August 25th, so I can guarantee you she's lived in Alabaster longer than most of you, or any of you. Miss Jerry, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
We're just excited to hear about Alabaster and what it used to be like. So what was it like growing up in Alabaster in the 20s and 30s?
Well, there was only 2 grocery stores. Both of them were Walker, Mr. Joe Walker and Will Walker. But they were not brothers, they were just related. And just look at it now. And there was only one place to eat, and they only sold hamburgers and hot dogs.
Wow. And all dirt roads. And Now you said, up near where the hospital is.
And then we moved down to in Alabaster there across from the bank.
On 31? Okay, and you had to walk all the way down 119 to get to school? How was that?
We had fun.
Did you? Did a big group of you go together?
Yeah, we usually always left our home at the same time, and we met there, you know, where the railroad used to go. Cars used to go over the railroad, and they changed it now. We'd all get there just about the same time and go together.
Now, I hear you had an interesting breakfast some days, and you would stop at your grandmother's where, what was the name of it? The Mill House.
Yeah,
used to be. Your grandparents lived there? Tell us about your breakfast on some days.
We'd just stop by and get us she'd always have hot biscuits and something for us. And we'd run in the front and out the back and catch up with our group.
Yeah. And some days you put, was it onions on those biscuits?
Yeah, that was in the afternoon. We'd get the onions, go by and get the onions, and then get an armful of her stove wood and take it in for her and get a biscuit and out the front.
Yeah. Now, I also heard that your daddy could play music with saws and things like that. Tell us about that.
He would take a handsaw and put the handle of it here and take this and take a nail set and play a tune on it back and forth with that.
Oh, wow. That's neat. And what about, did he used to take you to the dances? And
yeah, they had the band practice. Buck Creek had a band. It was called the Buck Creek Band, and they practiced on Wednesday down at the Y. It's the dance hall's not there anymore, and it was by the theater, and it's not there anymore. And then they had on a Saturday night they always had a dance, and my daddy used to play at a dance and play a banjo, but when he would go with us, and we would dance, and would just watch. Mother never did care anything about going. She didn't dance.
Yeah. Now, all that was down near where the new city hall is, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I know recently your granddaughter, who is one of my really good friends, Jennifer McDaniel, she showed me a picture on Facebook of a pageant that you were in, and I loved it because you and my grandmother, Sarah Lee, were sitting right next to each other. Tell us about, was this a homecoming pageant?
No, they just Buck Creek put on a pageant once a year, and I was surprised when I was asked to be in it because I wasn't but 15 years old. And so I said, well, when they asked me, I said, well, I don't have a dress and we can't afford to buy one. So the wife that ran the filling station, he said, his wife had one and I could borrow it. So that was her dress that I borrowed, that I represented.
Okay. And each girl had like a business that represented them? Is that how that worked? That's so interesting. Now, your granddaddy was also the first sheriff of Siluria and Alabaster?
He was a constable.
Excuse me.
Everybody called him sheriff, though.
Okay, what was his name?
Frank Fallon.
Frank Fallon. What was that like, having a sheriff or a constable as your granddaddy?
Oh, we were scared to death of him.
I bet. I bet the boys were scared too, weren't they?
Yeah. He didn't like, well, they didn't wear shorts and overalls and pants back then, but we would go up, my aunt Clara would go up to get her brother's overalls, and we'd put them on. And my granddaddy drove a Dodge touring car, and when we could hear him coming up the hill, and we'd run upstairs and get our dress on and get out of the overalls, because he didn't like them. We were scared to death of him.
Well, tell us about who you married. Your husband. And y'all had the farm here on Smoky Road. What was that like?
Well, I grew up there in Alabaster, and then we ran off and got married, and of course, and spent the night at the Redmont Hotel.
Now, where was that, in Birmingham?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We caught the bus and went to Birmingham, and it was almost dark when we found a preacher to marry us. And
how old were you?
15, no, okay. 16 when I got married. And when I came back home the next day, he left and come on they were delivering milk at that time in Salura, and he caught the milk truck and went on home, and I went home, and we didn't see each other for a week because my mother would have killed him.
Y'all had the dairy farm here on Smoky Road, correct?
Yeah, well, we moved down here.
1943?
Yeah.
What was that like, having a dairy farm?
It was just like working 8 days a week.
I bet. A lot of hard work, a lot of early mornings.
I didn't have to go milk, but Arthur would want me to go over there and just sit and be with him if the help didn't show up. What's
the secret to living a long, happy life now that you're 97, or about to be 97?
Just working and enjoying life, I guess, and drinking margaritas every now and then.
There you go. Well, Alabaster, I think that ends us with some great advice. And thank you so much, Miss Nolen, for being with us. And we hope you have an amazing, happy birthday.
Well, thank you.